caring for the planet isn't just an add-on. It's the way we live, the way we do businesses, the way we interact with our people in our workplaces, with our families and community. In this video, we'll meet businesses that are leading with environmental action, showing how practical, scalable changes can protect ecosystems, cut waste, and open up new opportunities for growth that we've never seen before and that can be cutting edge for the Northern Rivers, where we're showing leadership and our leaders are showing the way.
At Rainbow Power, we really try to think through products as a whole of life cycle system and how we can then leverage those things to support our local community, right down to the people that need it the most. And a great example of that is we might get a secondhand solar system that certainly has life still in it, some older panels or an older inverter with some older batteries. And whilst that's not going to suit running an entire household, we can certainly package that down into something that can suit someone who might be living out of a vehicle, which isn't uncommon in our area. To ensure that they have access to some energy. We've had people that are living out of tents that we're supporting with smaller solar systems as well.
At Me, we take this approach to environmental education with joy, with fun. We're leading with a connect, understand, act kind of approach. So connecting in first with nature, the love of nature and being outside. Then the understanding, here comes the science. And then the acting, how do we go about that? That's a scientific approach to behavioural change as well. It's like this really strong triangle. When we do it in that order every time, it really works. When we just try and tell people, or when we just try and say, do this, it doesn't have that stickiness that we need if we're going to protect and care for nature.
So the BLR system, and there's a reason I'm wearing green, is actually a biological system using algae. And we've basically harnessed the power of algae to treat wastewater. And they remove all the nutrients and help us create beautiful, clean water that we can release back into the environment.
Newton Denny Chappell is a multidisciplinary firm specialising in surveying, town planning and engineering services. We have introduced drones and digital mapping into our services, and that's reduced our fuel costs, our visit to sites, which has really improved our client focus for the local community. This is a big leap, and it does require a lot of dedication and financial commitment to take that leap into technology. What we've found is by starting slowly, letting the technology improve our environmental and productivity outcomes, that it's been a real worthy investment.
At Boost My Business, we do more than just save people money. Our biggest focus is actually keeping more money within the community. If we can save $50 from leaving the community from every single customer, 1,000 customers, that's $5,000 a month. If we get 20,000 customers, that's $1 million a month we keep within the community, and that really helps that circular economy, and that money keeps flowing around the economy here in the Northern Rivers rather than going to the big cities.
Byron Bay Wildlife Hospital was created as a mobile veterinary hospital 5 years ago, and a few weeks ago we saw our 10,000th case, and we've completely outgrown that mobile facility. So very recently, in fact just 2 weeks ago, we bought an existing veterinary hospital in the region, and that is now the permanent home of Byron Bay Wildlife Hospital, which also frees up the mobile hospital to go anywhere in Australia for education purposes, research purposes.
For us, doing business differently means honouring heritage by protecting the planet. That's by making smarter choices, being more sustainable and ensuring a thriving future for generations to come.
For us, doing business differently means restoring the land with Australian native manuka bushes and bee fodder for the bees to survive and thrive on. And by doing this, we can build a new industry for farmers, First Nations people and the community in a new way of doing things.
Well, wildlife matter. Wildlife do matter. We've been really instrumental in educating people, making people aware of the importance of wildlife and therefore the environment. Because if there's no environment, there's no wildlife.
We've tried everything from putting a wind turbine in our yard to create the power that we need to run a visual effects company. We deal with huge amounts of power and data. All of our decisions we've made in our technology, the environmental impact of our decisions have been right up the list of consideration. It's not an afterthought, it's not something that came by accident. It's been right at the front and centre of how we've chosen our products, everything from sourcing computers from the grey market and refurbishing, down to using very expensive flash storage for our server, and we're able to adopt a whole bunch of innovative solutions using GPU technology. Again, is a much more power efficient way to process data rather than the CPU, and basically made us the leaders in how we use GPU technology, which eventually led to us being purchased by a larger international company because of the technology we had in our company.
One of the biggest things I think other businesses learn from our approach is do something different, think ahead in the future. It's one of the biggest things for me as a business owner. We started selling batteries back in 2012. You know, we were doing batteries when they weren't cool, and now everyone's starting to get batteries and renewable energy. Spend that time and think about what's your business going to look like in 10 years with technology and all the stuff that's coming ahead.